This week on Beacon Web News, Andrew Strout visits the closed Friendly shop in North Adams that marijuana retailers have taken an interest for. Alison Thino catches up with students who reacted to Kanye West visiting Mass Moca this winter break. The mayor of North Adams delivers his first city address. Julia Texera speaks to administration about students reacting to the Radio Practicum course being removed. That's all coming up next on Beacon Web News.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Beacon Web News for 2019. I'm Karen Canella. We began with the MCLA Office of Admissions and their search for the new admissions ambassadors. If you're interested in giving daily tours to prospective students and their families and working open house and acceptance students days, apply to be an ambassador now and help bring in the class of 2023. For more information, please visit mcla.interviewexchange.com. The application closes February 14th. The votes are in. Last semester, the class of 2019 Student Council held the event You Want a Piece of Me to raise funds for senior days. Each member in attendance got the opportunity to sample pizza from multiple places to decide on who makes the best pizza in North Adams. Congratulations to Ramuntos for taking home first place. Over the past few years, the city of North Adams has been renovating various recreational areas around town, such as new facilities at Windsor Lake and Camp Hill. The park at Braden Hills is next on the list of renovations, and the city approved an estimated $455,000 expansions to the park that would include walking paths, picnic tables, and improvements to the sports fields. Friendly's restaurants in North Adams closed in 2014 and has remained unoccupied ever since, but marijuana retailers are now looking into renovating the location and turning it into a marijuana dispensary.
What once was a Friendly's restaurant in the North Adams Gateway Center along Route 2 will soon become a dispensary for recreational marijuana. In November of 2018, Evergreen Strategies announced that they were looking at the former Friendly's as a recreational marijuana dispensary. Over the past few months, many recreational marijuana shops have opened in Massachusetts, including shops in Northampton, Great Barrington, and Pittsfield. These shops still prioritize products for medical patients, as recreational customers are only allowed to purchase 3.5 grams per visit, while medical patients can purchase up to an ounce.
I think that over time, as the law becomes more regulated and more implemented across the state, that the amount that people are allowed to buy from dispensaries will definitely increase the same way that it has in other states.
Recreational marijuana has improved the economy of other states that have legalized the substance due to a 20% tax rate for the product. Local residents hope that the same can be said for Massachusetts.
The opening of a recreational dispensary in North Adams will be really good for our community, especially considering the amount of opioid users and overdoses that we have in town.
They got a good selection, prices are okay. They once more show up, come down, but very professional, well put together, quick in and out, got what I needed.
Netta Northampton sells various products for recreational use, such as edibles, concentrates, pre-rolled joints, and vape pens. The North Adams location will likely offer similar products to Netta Northampton at similar prices, as the state government is highly regulating the sales of cannabis products. The dispensary hopes to open its doors by the end of this year. For Beacon Web News, I'm Andrew Strout.
Get ready to bundle up, North Adams, because the 22nd Annual Winterfest is almost here. The celebration will take place on Saturday, February 16th. The city is eagerly searching for assistance from businesses to participate in sponsor events such as the Chowder Cook-Off and ice sculpting competitions. A new addition to the festivities will be Bright Ideas Homebrew Contest, decided through a blind taste test. The day is sure to be packed with activities from ice skating to carriage rides, so be sure to contact the Office of Tourism and Community Events to sign up to try your hand at the $100 grand prize for Best Ice Sculpture. Barn Babies will return to MCLA on Saturday, February 9th at 6 p.m. This is SAC's most popular annual event in which students are able to play with and hire small animals and pets such as puppies, ducklings, and goats. Barn Babies is free and open to all MCLA students and will take place in Venable Gym. Be sure to arrive early as the line is typically very long. Former Celtics player Chris Herron will be speaking at Chapman Hall at Williams College about his experiences with substance abuse and how he was able to find help on Tuesday, February 12th at 7:30 p.m. Since he began recovery in 2008, Herron has been public speaking across the country about his journey. This event is free and open to the public. During the winter break, Kanye West visited Mass Moca, attracting a great deal of social media attention. Alice Centino covers the story about his visit and his reactions of some of the MCLA students.
You may know him from his latest album, Yeezus, or maybe you're a devoted superfan eagerly awaiting Yandhi to be released this year. Maybe you're just familiar with his name. Either way, Kanye West, a rapper, singer, and songwriter, is a name that sparks controversy. Whether you love his music or cringe at the name, his appearance at Mass Moca this past December took North Adams by storm and made headlines across America. After arriving at the museum, West was given a personal tour by none other than James Turrell, the artist in question that the musician had come to see. Exploring Turrell's exhibit titled Into the Light, the two can be seen on Mass Moca's social media pages. Here, you can see them enveloped in the color pink. Twitter was abuzz with comments to the picture, some people claiming it was the photo of the year. Others were not too impressed. Even MCLA students were no stranger to the celebrity touching down in their college town.
I saw that he actually did go, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, oh, huge celebrity coming to North Adams. Would you look at that?
It was cool to have someone that big come, out here into the Dragon's Den out in here in Western Mass. It was interesting.
I saw it in the papers at work. I thought it was pretty crazy, to be honest. Just like, why would he come here of all places? Like, I thought that was really cool.
A few of his songs I really enjoy. Some of them I'm not really a fan of, but for the most part I like his music.
I used to listen to some of his music, but currently no, I don't really listen to it.
I don't listen to his music, unfortunately. I heard he's really good.
But the singer's first trip to the museum did not end there. West has taken further action to support Turrell's artistic endeavors, going as far as to donate $10 million. The funding will go to current work in progress, Road and Crater. This project has been in the works for years, where Turrell strives to turn an extinct volcano into a center for observation. It's likely it was not merely Turrell that drove West to make an appearance in Mass Moca. The celebrity was also accompanied by museum director Joseph Thompson. Coming this spring, a new exhibition will open, which spawned from his lyrics, "Doctors say I'm the illest because I'm suffering from realness." This is the foundation for the exhibit that plans to examine the human condition. It is available to the public on April 13th. Until then, keep checking back with us here at BWN for your latest in entertainment.
During a shoplifting arrest on January 25th in North Adams, police seized 100 bags of heroin. Officers were dispatched at 1:54 p.m. to the Cumberland Farms on Ashton Street. After receiving descriptions of the suspects, officers located the two people who matched the description, Daryl Bouton and Tanisha Bassett. While the officers searched both suspects, the officers discovered that the suspects were carrying 100 bags of heroin. Both suspects have pleaded not guilty and are due back in court in March. To celebrate Black History Month, join the Multicultural Resource Center and Chief Diversity Officer Christopher McDonald Dennis. They will be hosting movie night every Wednesday all month long at 7 p.m. in Sullivan Lounge. The movie that will be shown tonight is Rosewood. As the semester begins, 8 students were informed that the Radio Practicum course they had planned to take had been rejected by academic affairs and they had to find other courses. Julia Texera has more on this story, including
as students transitioned into the new semester, 8 students found themselves scrambling for credits as it was announced that the Radio Practicum class would be discontinued just 3 days into the semester. New Dean of Academic Operations, Deb Foss, spoke on what had happened that led to the course being discontinued.
It had since at least 2015 been offered to students as a course by arrangement.
A course by arrangement is a course that is not on the schedule, but has been normally taught in the past. And if a student requests the course, and if a faculty member agrees to teach it, then it becomes a course by arrangement.
So for the spring of 2019, the course was not on the schedule. So So there's this thing about canceling, and I understand some people think it's semantics, but it's actually an important concept, because to cancel a course, you actually have to have an existing course in the schedule, on the schedule, right? Which this was not on the schedule.
Vice President of Academic Affairs, Emily Williams, shared her thoughts on the Radio Practicum course.
It was certainly something that I talked about in the President's Open Hour, that it was my wish, certainly, that with the outpouring of support from students, that it would have been placed on the schedule.
As Vice President of Academic Affairs, Emily Williams had alluded to, many students were passionate about this decision, and it showed during a recent SGA meeting, as well as President Burge's recent office hour session.
When, so many students like myself have benefited from this course, have gone on to work in professional radio, professional media as a whole, whether it's print, digital, television, all of those students will tell you WJJW, and in part Professor Nabalski were a big part of that success. Why was this decision made?
Vice President Williams explains that the college has learned from this decision.
I think this particular situation affords us an amazing opportunity to see things a little bit more clearer, and we have something that we will roll out next week.
And an email was sent out confirming that the Radio Practicum class is back on the air. And for Beacon Web News, I'm Julia Texera with additional reporting from Ron Leja and Corey Mitchell-Labrie.
As the basketball season winds down, fans are encouraged to show off their Trailblazer spirit. Come support women's basketball team as they face Curry College on February 11th at 6 p.m. in the Campus Center gym. In Pittsfield, the City Council's Ordinance and Rules Committee reached an agreement on a plastic bag ban. The proposal to ban all single-use plastic bags have been in the legislative process for over 6 years. The committee reached an agreement on Tuesday, February 5th, to take the ordinance to full council. iBreakstreet reports that the City Council members are trying to achieve the ban to guarantee a friendlier environmental alternative. Today, MCLA is hosting its 24th annual Student Leadership Conference in the Campus Center of the college. The conference will give students the opportunity to examine topics of leadership skills while learning more about each other. The college aims for students to expand their thinking and investigate the diversity and leadership among them. The conference begins at 1. To register, visit www.mcla.edu. Andrew Belargin returns with Take Note, this weekly commentary and opinion segment about issues relevant to campus and community.
Three days into the start of this semester, students who had signed up in December for the Radio Practicum class within the English and Communications Department were informed via email from MCLA Dean of Academic Operations Deborah Foss that their request to take the class was denied. As far as anyone knew, this was the first time this particular course by arrangement had been denied, and with no clear explanation given as to why it was denied. Dean Foss's suggestion in the email to, quote, find an independent study or internship with only 4 days left to find other classes within the ad drop period made those of us who had planned to be in Radio Practicum understandably upset. Fortunately, on Monday, February 4th, the issue was resolved after a series of discussions and meetings between the students, the English and Communications Department chair, and administration, as well as those of us who had planned to take the class being signed back into it for this semester. Predictably, the ordeal created a good deal of trouble for students, some of who were counting on the credits to maintain full-time status and to graduate as much as it did for administration. It was a period of roughly a week with heavy tension between the students and administration, and, to a slightly lesser extent, the English and Communications Department and administration. Dean Foss and MCLA Vice President of Academic Affairs Emily Williams attended a meeting for half an hour last Monday held by the Student Government Association to answer questions. There was a constant outcry for more transparency over the administration's troubling decision, in which neither the department chair nor the instructor teaching the course were notified about the decision beforehand. Many students at the SGA meeting Monday night said that Dean Foss and VP Williams handled their appearance poorly, refusing to answer even simple questions as to why the course was canceled, or simply repeating that the course was actually never offered, and therefore wasn't actually canceled as they stuck to specific talking points. Even now, their reasoning remains unclear. Later in the week, dozens of students attended MCLA President Burge's regular conversational gathering, a number presumably much greater than these gatherings usually receive. On social media, current students and alumni supported WJHW and the Radio Practicum course, with many sharing how the course and their experiences at WJHW helped them with their careers, and some even saying they would write to President Burge directly. Now that things seem back to normal, what can we learn from all of this? From a student's perspective, this ordeal should be viewed as a teaching and inspirational moment. A small group of students stood up in a respectful and organized way to what they believed was a wrongful action taken by the college. This ultimately played a part in the school reversing its decision. We as students and millennials are often accused of being complacent and lethargic, and this incident shows otherwise. It shows that we do care about the education we receive and that we value the special courses that MCLA offers students. If the student body had merely given in, it would set a precedent that people in position of power, such as the president, VP, or dean, would be allowed to do whatever they wanted uncontested. Additionally, it would possibly have resulted in a decision carried out on January 25th becoming finalized. Academic affairs also should learn some lessons from this. I realize both Dean Foss and VP Williams are new in their positions, but if a course request or something about the course schedules coming from a department does not seem clear, then why not just ask the department chair for an explanation? There may be a perfectly good reason for the way a certain course or course by arrangement is done the way it is, just as it may highlight that some things may need to change. But either way, starting with a question and discussion and doing due diligence and having a full awareness of how a decision can affect students would be much better than to simply make a decision and then just stick to talking points that simply don't answer the questions that inevitably arise. Ultimately, however, administration did eventually make things right. It's just too bad that it took a week of anxiety and confusion about our class schedules to do so. I would like to commend the student body and numerous school alumni working for various media companies regionally and throughout the U.S. for communicating to the administration and in taking action in getting the course back. I would also like to acknowledge the Board of Executives at 91.1 WJHW FM for handling the delicate situation as masterfully as they did. I felt that students were passionate but maintained a respectful and professional tone to administration, even when they felt they were not getting good answers. Finally, I would like to congratulate and extend thanks to Dr. Paula Sage and the faculty at the English and Communications Department for helping to get our class back and for backing up your students when we needed it most. Thank you, and make sure to view Beacon Web News next week for another edition of Take Note.
In Adams, town officials will hold a public hearing next week to go over possible projects that include the long-discussed Russell Field renovation project. The project would include drainage and playing field improvements, as well as handicap accessibility, enhanced pedestrian access, and other exterior improvements. Community development leaders agreed that the improvements to the park is a priority. The hearing will take place Wednesday, February 12th at 7:10 at Town Hall. Thomas Mayor Bernard held his first State of the City address this year when he spoke on the success of the city and the improvements he'd like to make in 2019. He spoke to Beacon Web News shortly after his speech about some of his ideas.
The mayor's State of City address took place on January 31st at City Hall. The mayor spoke of the success the city had in 2018 and the new changes he looks forward to in the new year.
I'd like to report with full confidence that the state of the city of North Adams is strong and getting stronger.
We had a chance to talk to Mayor Bernard about the various topics he covered in his speech.
Kind of talked about things that we've accomplished, and we'll continue to build on those because, you know, a lot of the work that you do sets the stage for the next phase. So talking about, you know, here's a great example, that grant we got to do a climate vulnerability study. That's important because it's information we need to have, but it's also important because until we have that study, we can't get into the queue for bigger state grants. So it's building on the things that we've already done.
During the address, the mayor mentioned MCLA as one of the main contributors to the city's success. We had the chance to speak to the college's president, James Burge, who told us more about the relationship MCLA has with the city.
Our Down Street Art program really brings the city and the college together that benefits everybody in the community. So we have some great programming. It brings people out onto the street in these beautiful summer evenings in this beautiful setting. So that's one of the really important things.
The mayor tells us more about some of the work he plans on doing for the city.
That kind of infrastructure work inside City Hall. We know that we had a new city clerk come in. I'm hiring for a police chief. We're hiring, a new assistant MIS director. And these positions are absolutely critical. But when somebody leaves, you're losing a good colleague, somebody with experience, somebody with institutional knowledge, and you're bringing in the person who's going to have new ideas and fresh perspectives, and that's good too, but you need a balance.
The mayor's address highlighted the goals that are set for the new year. While the mayor hopes to continue working on the projects he already has, he is still excited for the new changes that are to come.
A citizen's petition filed at Town Hall is asking voters from Great Barrington to consider whether they would support renaming Monument Valley Regional Middle School to W.E.B. Du Bois Regional Middle School. The idea is to honor the African-American scholar, writer, and civil rights leaders outside of the town's official W.E.B. Du Bois legacy. The petition was filed on January 31st. Petitioners are discussing having the conversation at town hall meetings to make it happen. That is all for this week's episode of Beacon Web News, folks. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates. You can view this episode on YouTube. Have a lovely week.